The year is 2024. The geopolitical landscape is fraught with tension. The world is witnessing a return to great power rivalry. This time, the struggle is not just between nations, but between entire systems of governance and values. On one side stands the West, led by the United States and its allies in Europe and Asia. On the other side, a coalition of nations, often referred to as the East, challenges the existing world order. This bloc includes major powers like China and Russia, along with a growing network of partners and allies. The post-Cold War era, marked by a brief period of American dominance, is fading. In its place, a multipolar world is emerging, characterized by shifting alliances, renewed competition, and an unsettling degree of uncertainty. This new world disorder is defined by a complex interplay of factors, including ideological struggles, economic competition, military build-ups, and the resurgence of nationalism. At the heart of this global power shift lies a fundamental question. Will the 21st century be defined by cooperation or conflict? The answer to this question hinges on the choices made by leaders in both the West and the East. Will they embrace dialogue and diplomacy, or will they succumb to the allure of confrontation and zero-sum games? The stakes could not be higher. The future of the global order and the fate of billions of people hang in the balance. Understanding the dynamics of this new geopolitical landscape is crucial for navigating the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. The primary fault line in this new world order runs between the West and the East. The West, led by the United States, has long been the dominant force in global affairs. Its influence is rooted in its military might, its control over key international institutions, and its promotion of democratic values and free market capitalism.
However, the West's grip on global power is loosening. The rise of the East, particularly China, poses a significant challenge to the established order. China's economic growth has been nothing short of remarkable, propelling it to become the world's second-largest economy. It has also made significant strides in military modernization, challenging the United States' military supremacy in the Asia-Pacific region.
Russia, despite its economic weaknesses, remains a formidable military power and seeks to reassert its influence in its near abroad, as evidenced by its actions in Ukraine. The East's challenge to the West is not merely about economic and military might, it also represents a clash of ideologies and visions for the future of global governance.
The East, particularly China and Russia, champions a more multipolar world order, one where Western dominance is diminished and alternative models of governance, often characterized by state capitalism and a greater emphasis on national sovereignty, gain greater acceptance. This power struggle between the West and the East is playing out on multiple fronts, from the battlefields of Ukraine to the bustling trade routes of the South China Sea. It is also evident in the cyber realm, where nations engage in a constant struggle for technological dominance and control of information. The outcome of this rivalry will have profound implications for the future of the international system. At the heart of the geopolitical tensions between the West and the East lies a fundamental clash of ideologies. The West, particularly the United States, has long championed the virtues of democracy, individual liberty, and free markets as the cornerstones of a just and prosperous society. These values are enshrined in its institutions and underpin its foreign policy objectives.
The West has actively promoted these values globally, often through diplomatic means, but also at times through military intervention. The East, led by China and Russia, offers a contrasting vision. These nations prioritize state power and national sovereignty over individual rights. They are wary of the West's emphasis on democracy promotion, viewing it as a form of interference in their internal affairs.
China, in particular, has embraced state capitalism, a system where the government plays a dominant role in the economy, even as it allows for some degree of private enterprise. Russia, under Vladimir Putin, has increasingly embraced a more authoritarian model, cracking down on dissent and consolidating power in the hands of the Kremlin.
This ideological divide has profound implications for global governance. The West seeks to uphold a rules-based international order. where disputes are settled through diplomacy and international law is respected. The East, on the other hand, is more skeptical of such institutions, viewing them as tools of Western hegemony. They prefer a more flexible, transactional approach to international relations, where power plays a more central role. This clash of ideologies is not merely academic, it has real-world consequences, shaping everything from trade policy to military alliances to the fight against climate change. Section 4, the West's arsenal, hard power and global influence.
The West, led by the United States, maintains a formidable arsenal of hard power, including the world's most powerful military and a network of military alliances that span the globe.
The United States military spending dwarfs that of any other nation, allowing it to project power globally and maintain a significant military presence in key regions like the Asia-Pacific and the Middle East.
This military might underpins the West's ability to deter aggression, respond to crises and maintain a degree of stability in the international system.
Beyond its military capabilities, the West also wields considerable soft power. Its cultural influence, particularly that of the United States, is pervasive, shaping global trends in music, film, fashion and technology.
The West's universities attract students from around the world, fostering intellectual exchange and spreading Western ideas and values.
Furthermore, the West controls many of the world's most influential international organizations, including the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund.
These institutions, while not without their flaws, provide a platform for the West to shape global norms, promote its interests, and exert influence on the international stage.
However, the West's reliance on hard power and its control of global institutions have also drawn criticism.
Critics argue that the West's interventions in places like Iraq and Afghanistan have been counterproductive, destabilizing entire regions and fueling anti-Western sentiment.
They also point to the West's hypocrisy in promoting democracy while supporting authoritarian regimes that serve its strategic interests.
These criticisms highlight the limitations of hard power and the need for the West to re-evaluate its approach to global engagement.
Section 5, the East's counter a multipolar world order.
The East, led by China and Russia, is actively working to reshape the global order in its favor, promoting a vision of a multipolar world where power is more evenly distributed.
China, in particular, has embarked on an ambitious foreign policy agenda, expanding its economic influence through initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative, which aims to connect Asia, Africa and Europe through a network of infrastructure projects.
China has also been strengthening its military capabilities, modernizing its armed forces and asserting its territorial claims in the South China Sea.
Russia, despite its economic limitations, has sought to reassert its influence in its near abroad and counter what it perceives as Western encroachment.
The ongoing conflict in Ukraine is a stark reminder of Russia's willingness to use military force to pursue its geopolitical objectives.
Moscow has also sought to strengthen ties with countries in Asia, Africa and Latin America, building strategic partnerships and offering an alternative to Western influence.
The East's vision of a multipolar world order is not without its challenges.
China's growing assertiveness has raised concerns among its neighbors, many of whom are wary of its intentions.
Russia's actions in Ukraine have drawn international condemnation and triggered a wave of sanctions from the West.
The East's challenge to the existing order is still in its early stages. Whether it can successfully build a more equitable and stable international system remains to be seen.